Kate, and I think I have waited a few minutes to see how many people are going to join so that I can start this live. I'm going to go ahead and start, and if anybody joins, that's great, but I feel like, this is what God is asking me to share this morning. I've been praying about it because it's really, seriously, it's really out of my comfort zone, really. I just don't, how should I put it? Like, the flow comes through the Holy Spirit, but definitely it's not my first choice when it comes to the things that I personally would love to indulge in. So, but this morning, it is January 2nd, right? January 2nd, 2023. And I might do this again on a Saturday morning. I think Saturday mornings probably will work best for most people, right? But I just wanted to kind of set us off on a good word when it comes to 2023 and some of the things that everybody has their heart focused on. So, the best way I can start this is basically to ask you, how is your heart, dear sister? Not how are you, because when we ask how are you, people oftentimes will say, I'm okay. But when someone asks you, how is your heart? It tells a lot, right? Immediately you are going into spaces like your feelings and your emotions and your thoughts and all those parts of you that maybe not a whole lot of people get insight into, right? So how is your heart? How are you doing when it comes to your heart, the matters of the heart? You hear that a lot, the matters of the heart. I know that the Lord has charged me with focusing on heart work and heart issues. And years ago, when he started to call me to this, I wasn't hearing a lot of people talk about your heart the way I'm hearing it being talked about now when it comes to take care of your soul, take care of your heart, take care of things that you need to take care of. And hi, Silent. Hi, Marlene. Hi, Marlene. Take care of your heart, take care of your heart, take care of your heart. Everything we do is about our heart. But oftentimes I have realized that, when we are talking about the heart, people really don't know what the heart is all about. It's more like my feelings and my emotions. And I do believe that my work, as someone who likes to focus on people's well-being, even when I was very actively working in corporate America and in human resources, that's always been a part of me that I always wanted to make sure that employees and people that I come across, they're really taking care of themselves, but not only the physical body or the things that are going on emotionally, but really the things that people don't see. So there's this thing that in the mental health field, especially in therapy, there's something like an iceberg. And as you know what an iceberg is, oftentimes when it's in the middle of the ocean, what you see is the tip, right? The tip of the iceberg. And as soon as you hear the iceberg, what did you hear? What do you hear? You hear about Titanic. For those who have watched the movie Titanic, I think that's most of us our first experience of seeing how an iceberg behaves, and so the tip of the iceberg, you see it and you're like, what's that? And then but there's more underneath that is more deadly, that is more filled with a lot of stuff, very strong. When you think about the heart that is referenced in the Bible, it is oftentimes misconstrued. Like, people think the heart in the Bible is all about your feelings and emotions, and it's more than that. It is more than that. And so I want to focus on taking care of your heart. How do you take care of your heart this year so that the things that you're seeking, the fruits of the Spirit that you're seeking, the joy, the peace, the love, the faithfulness, the patience, all those things can truly flow from the heart? It's not really about, the difference between the head and the heart and all that stuff. When you look in the Bible, really, the brain is not mentioned in the Bible. What is mentioned in the Bible is most often the heart, which is mentioned about 826 times. And that is from Strong's Concordance. And it's kind of like a book, a dictionary where you kind of look into different words in the Bible. 826 times the heart is mentioned. And also it is mentioned in 54 books. So literally like almost all the books, the heart is mentioned. And so when I have to talk about some of the scriptures that the heart is mentioned in, here are some of them. Psalm 51 verse 10. We all know this. Create in me a clean heart, O God, right? Ezekiel 36:26, it says, I will give you a new heart, and I will remove the heart of stone and give you the heart. 3:5-6, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Yes, trust in the Lord with all. Whew, I don't know about you, but when I hear these scriptures, it does something to my heart. And so I just wanted to take some time and focus on your heart. And so let's talk about this heart that the Bible references so many times. So many people talk about the heart. And I know that from my experience and from what the word has taught me, it appears to be like sometimes people think there are like two hearts that we talk about, the heart that is all about emotions and feelings and, that. And then there is this heart that is all about understanding and logic. And that's where you go to find meaning and deep revelation. All right. So if we focus on where the Bible really originated from and we look at the Hebrew language, there is this prayer that they pray called Shema or Shema. And it's a prayer that is said every morning, and it comes from Deuteronomy chapter 6 verses 4-5. So I'm going to go 6 verses 4-5. It says, and I actually have it underlined. It says, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with be written upon your heart. It looks like Instagram just keeps reconnecting and connecting. Let me switch out. All your heart. Okay. Then it says, impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home, and also when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. The interesting thing is when I scheduled this live, it was on a Saturday. I think it was on a Saturday when the Lord asked me to put this live on the calendar, and I did. And on the 1st of January, when I woke up, God put on my heart these words. I was searching my heart for, as David says in the Psalms, right? Search my heart. I was searching my heart to figure out, Lord, what is this word that you're giving me for this year? And immediately it came, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind. I really sometimes will hear scriptures in my heart and I haven't really downloaded where it's coming from. And so immediately I Googled it, and it took me to Luke 10:27, but also in Matthew, it's there. We know the Gospels, the first 4 books of the New Testament. So it says in there, and I'm like, wow. And so right now, as I'm reading Deuteronomy 6, 4-5, there it is. So all along, God is amazing. When he tells you to do something, you do it. And sometimes I do believe that he's probably sending the message to me and I am supposed to just process it and then maybe later share it with everybody. But when you hear this, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might and with all your strength, with all your mind and with all your strength. I mean, it says, wrap it around you on your forehead, your children. That's what he's talking about. But what is this heart? What is this heart? We're supposed to say that the Lord is in our heart, and out of our heart flows the issues of life and all those things. The heart is very, very delicate. It is very, very complex. It is very, very complicated. It is very, very, as the Bible says, very wicked. Sometimes you don't know what's going on in people's hearts and you get surprised by it. You're like, whoa, I didn't know you were carrying all those things around. Yes, the heart of man. And so your heart is more than the emotional feelings you have about a situation or something. It's more than that. The heart in Hebrew is called levav or lev. Levav or lev. And it is basically made up of your physical health, your thought life, your physical health, meaning where you actually process your the things that goes on in your body, your thought life, your processing of emotions, and also it makes choices and decisions. So while the Bible really doesn't talk about the brain, it does talk about the mind. And it talks about the heart. And it's kind of like you have like the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. So the conscious mind is where, you're looking at it right now. My conscious mind is I'm conscious of what's going on around me. I see you on Instagram or on my live, and I'm conscious of everything. My subconscious, you can't really see until I show that to you. Like what's really going on deep within my heart. You see this joy expression on my face, but what's really going on in the subconscious? Remember the iceberg that I talked about? That's what it is. You see the tip. So right now you're seeing the tip of everything that I am representing in my heart, right? So you're seeing the tip of maybe the joy that I'm experiencing, the happiness, the contentment, all those things you're experiencing that. But then the deep, deep, deep things in my perceptions, in my fears, in my, the deep emotions, all those things, you don't really see it, but it's going to come out in some way if I'm not careful, right? And so when we're talking about the heart, it is everything about us. Your physical processing, your emotional processing, your thought life, the way you make decisions and choices, it is everything. So the human heart and the heart itself. So we have the biological heart, and that's good. It pumps blood. Everything that we do flows from it, truly. And we also have the heart that God gives us and talks about every day. The heart is the center of all human existence. Yes, your thought life, your mind, it's there. That's where it's coming from. Everything. That is where it is coming from. And so in Deuteronomy 30, verse 6, we are also reminded that we ought to have a renewed heart. So let me go there. And actually let's read it together. Deuteronomy 30, verse 6. So this is what it says. Deuteronomy 30, verse 6. I also have it underlined. The Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the hearts of your descendants, so that you may love him with all your heart and with all your soul and live. Oh my God. Yes. The Lord your God will circumcise your heart. Can we allow him to circumcise our hearts and renew it? Can we allow him to do that? Circumcise, basically, it means to remove the evil that's in our heart, to remove the stubbornness that's in our heart, to remove the sin that's in our heart. Yes. And it's work. It's work that we all need to do every single day. It's work, So if your heart in modern context is where all your intellectual activities take place, it is your subconscious mind, basically. Yep. Nobody sees it, but everybody experiences it one way or another. One way or another, everybody experiences it. Where you think and make sense in the world. It is where you feel. It is where you experience distress. It is where you have fear, where you experience joy. It is where you generate physical life too. My intentions to get up and go to work, to get up and go and work out, my intentions, that is why the heart must be renewed every single day. Taking care of your heart. So how do you take care of your heart? I'm sure that's really what most of you are going to be looking for is, let me just forward to how to take care of my heart. Hold on. Taking care of your heart. How do I put this? I know that taking care of your heart is a number of things. Okay. And some people are not going to agree with me on this. I do believe that the only person that can really renew your heart and really make it thrive the way it's supposed to thrive is not other than Jesus. Yes. I have tried it in different ways. I know what it's like to suffer without God. I will always say this, and I know what it means to suffer with God. When I used to suffer without God, my heart was just wrapped up in myself. I had these unhealthy boundaries that I put in place. People just hurt me and I cut them out. And, it's all these unforgiveness in my heart. But once I realized that I could suffer with God and really have joy and peace and understanding, it changed everything. And so when I say that taking care of your heart really is about you and God, it's about you and God. The world cannot give you what He can. I can give you what He can. Now, I am a vessel. I am somebody that can tell you and encourage you and show you what to do and how to do it. But ultimately, it's your relationship with God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, the Trinity, that's going to enable you to have that renewed heart that you're looking for. So when I ask you how your heart is, it is a complex question, but it is asking you to look at your core, to look at your beliefs that you hold close and where those beliefs are coming from. These are some questions that you only ask when you have a good therapist to help you figure it out. And the decisions and choices that you've made, even the stressors and the pressures you are holding on to in that moment. When you hear that question, how is your heart? Those are all the things that you're processing, right? Taking care of your heart is kind of like taking care of a hard drive. You have to shut down some things. You have to, refresh some things. You have to do a lot of things, right? And the part of the iceberg that no one gets to see and get the experience is the part that I'm talking about. Is the part that hurts the most. It's the part that the pain is so deep and the pain is just unbearable. You don't know what to do with it. It's the part that you have so much happiness, but still you don't have peace. You have so much money, but still you don't have peace. You have so many people around you, but still you feel lonely. Not alone, it's lonely. You have a lot of things going for you, but still you're searching. You're chasing. That's the thing. You're chasing something. You're chasing something. Yeah. So, taking care of your heart, like I said, it really starts with your relationship with Jesus. That's where it starts. You can hear from His word. First, He says, love me with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. And then He says in Deuteronomy 30, He says He's going to circumcise your heart. Oh my God. Do you want God to circumcise your heart? Meaning come in and remove what needs to be removed and replace it with what needs to be replaced with. So where do you have rest in your soul? Because where you don't have rest in your soul is where you trust God the least. I heard it from somewhere. I would say probably it was it Pastor Craig Groeschel? Someone. Where you don't have rest in your soul is where you trust God the least. For me, Where I don't have rest in my soul is on those occasions where I'm trying to make a decision that affects and impacts so many people in my life, specifically financial security, provision. That is where sometimes I can miss God. I can kind of miss what he's saying because I start to lean on my own understanding and on my own strength. And he's right. Where we miss God, where we don't have rest in our soul, is where we trust God the least. And he's right. So the anxieties, the depressions, the troubles that have piled up in our hearts, sometimes we walk around and people only see the tip. They don't see what's really going on. And so you hear all these surprising, people taking their lives. And it's like, oh my gosh, they look so happy and all that stuff. Every time I hear those stories, it breaks my heart because I know that it's not about what people see at the tip of the iceberg. It's what people don't see beneath the ocean. It's what people don't see. That's where the work truly needs to happen. That's where the healing truly needs to occur. That's where we need to go in and really search. Ask God to search our hearts and figure out, why am I feeling this way? Why am I thinking this way? Why am I behaving this way? Why? Why is a great question that we have to ask ourselves and keep asking ourselves. Why? And the more you dig deeper into the iceberg, the more the Lord is going to show you the areas of your heart that he has said in Deuteronomy 36 that he wants to circumcise. And like I said, circumcised, as the word says in Deuteronomy, it's basically him coming in and getting the stuff out. So that when you have joy, it's really coming from a place of peace, from a place of renewal, from a place of transformation. When you hear people that have taken their lives, people that, are struggling and stuff like that, all we are seeing is that tip of the iceberg. And it's unfortunate because the only way that we can go deeper and do that heart work, which I say heart work is soul work, is by asking the Lord to come in there and bring it out. And sometimes you need another person to help you. You might need a coach. You might need a therapist, a Christian therapist, someone who is Bible believing. I'm going to say it again, Bible believing therapist, not just someone who is going to have you just think and think and think. And before you know it, you're going off the deep end. But somebody that is going to help you figure out what's going on. That's what you need. Okay. So the deep work that needs to happen is not happening most of the time for a lot of people. It's always the tip, and then you live your life and then suffering happens or something happens and you don't know how to live or how to even make sense of what's happening. And before you know it, people are very, very anxious, very, very depressed, very, very, experiencing different personalities and all these things. And they are real issues, mental health issues. I say that mental health issues are often heart issues. The undealt, unresolved heart issues that we carry around with us. And they come out in our physical expressions, in our emotional expressions, in our mental expressions, sometimes even in our financial expressions, in our relational expressions. Unresolved heart issues manifest in different ways. And so this live is basically my way of starting the journey of really focusing on what God has called me to do, which is to talk about the heart and to really have people think about it. Not just talk about it, but think about it and do something about it. If you're listening today and you have heart issues, you have things that are painful, things that are really depressing, things that are really hard, the traumas that you've been through, you don't have to sit on it and you don't have to pretend. You don't. You can get up and you can start to do the work. I did the work. You're looking at somebody that went through a lot of sexual trauma in her childhood. 18 years old, 19 years old in college, I was raped. I was a victim of rape. But I figured it out. First of all, I lived with it for so long. It manifested in my marriage in ways that I couldn't really even fathom, but eventually I felt the need to do the heart work so that I could God could liberate me and set me free. When we talk about I am free, it's coming from the deepest parts of you that nobody can take away that freedom. Even in the midst of suppression by some worldly crisis, or for example, COVID or anything like that, there was still this essence of freedom, of peace that you have about you. That is what I'm talking about when it comes to doing the hard work. It's not the pretense. It's not the fake it till you make it and all that stuff. For me, it is the faith it till you make it. You have to believe that God is going to heal you, and you continue to chip at your heart every single day. Allow him to circumcise it every single day, and eventually it becomes liberated. So many scriptures. When you look at Galatians, Paul talks about we are called to be free. What kind of freedom was he talking about? The freedom so that we don't indulge in the worldly desires, our fleshly desires, all that stuff. What he's talking about is the true freedom. And later on in Galatians 5, he talks about it. The freedom so that we can experience the fruits of the Spirit. And so taking care of your heart, really what I'm going to share with you, some people will say is very cliche, but it's not. To take care of your heart, I say the first thing is to do some self-reflection. And self-reflection really leads to self-awareness, which can ultimately lead to self-development. In order to start a development journey, a transformation journey, you have to make the choice. It starts with a decision that you make that I am going to change. I want to transform my heart. I want my heart to be renewed. And that comes from self-reflection. A lot of reflection takes place when you go down the journey of God circumcising your heart and renewing your heart. And then also taking on some spiritual disciplines. Spiritual disciplines, this is where your soul truly thrives. Truly. This is where your soul how should I put it? Spiritual discipline could be anything, but it's supposed to be some things that you implement in your life to help your heart thrive, help your soul live. So some of the spiritual disciplines that truly, I can't say enough about prayer. And it's not just always having a set time. I pray on the go. Sometimes I'm in the gym, I'm on the treadmill, I turn on worship music and I'm praying. It doesn't have to be like a secluded place or anything like that. Sometimes you have to pray on the go. Sometimes I need to have these conversations with God. Fasting. This is the beginning of the year. A lot of churches, a lot of people are starting to do some form of fasting. I personally, and in our ministry, I am Free Woman Ministries, we are doing a 30-day fast. Of course, the 1st of January, you try to kind of be like, just eat my last cake. All those things. But I started today, January 2nd, and I am drinking lemon water, and then I have my celery juice over here. And then later on, I am going to be taking in my coconut water, and it is just, things that I'm doing to kind of help my body as I continue to do the fast. So you have to, and it's not just fasting. I have things that I'm going to God for. I have things that I need him to clarify. I have things that I need him to do for my organization. I am Free Woman, and I need to be able to come to him and be able to have him renew my heart and help me figure out these things that need to be done. And those are some of those spiritual disciplines. The other one is community. Find the people around you that are going to help you thrive. Find the people around you that are going to help you thrive, not just in life, but also in his word. Personal retreats. This week is my personal retreat. And what I do on my personal retreat is I am organizing for the new year. The kids are going back to school. It's perfect time for me to do that because they'll be out of the house. So find those moments that you can go into solitude with God to do these things for your soul, for your heart. Journaling. Oh my gosh. Yes, that's a spiritual discipline, y'all. Write and really get things from your heart on paper. And for sometimes people is like, I don't want, you can get it from your heart on paper and you burn it. Simple. Rest. Oh, and by the way, yes, this year we are going to really talk about journaling, and I'm probably going to spend some time teaching on how to journal. I don't know if that's a thing. I get people asking me, well, Kate, how do I journal? We're going to spend some time on it. Rest. That's something that I am starting to do a lot of this year is rest. I started last year. I became more aware of my schedule and the fact that I am a go kind of person. I was going to say go getter. Yes, I am. Go kind of person. I can do and do and do. And that's just my nature. That's how I am wired. But I need to build in some rest. I need to be able to take in some rest as well. And then once you have taken on some of these spiritual disciplines and also boundaries and guardrails, yes, we're going to teach on that too. We're going to make sure that we have most of that information for you. Also, make the decision to choose. Make the decision that you're going to choose to take care of your heart. That's the first step. Make the decision to choose that you're going to take care of your heart. And then yield this heart every day to God. Yield it every day, literally. Now we say surrender. That's another word. Yield it every day to God and be like, I give it to you, God. Take it and make it whatever it is. Psalms, David said what? Search my heart. Whew. Do you want God to search your heart? And what will he find in there? But guess what? He's not going to judge you. He's not going to criticize you. He's going to invite you to come to a space with him where he gets to renew it, where he gets to circumcise your heart. Ooh-wee! Purge the mind and search. I say purge and search. Okay? Purge and search. Can we all say that? Purge and search. And how do you purge so you can search? Through prayer, everything that I've mentioned, through fasting, through journaling, through resting, through talking to another friend, somebody. But you just have to get it out. Just get it out. And also lean into some physical well-being. Exercise, go for a walk, run, whatever it is, swim, play tennis, anything that you can do to get your body active. It's a great way to perspire. Like perspire. Bring it out. Bring it out. Okay? So I think I have talked enough when it comes to the heart, and some of the top things that I want to mention here is, number one, when it comes to the heart, what we are talking about is everything about you. It's not just, your head is not separated from your heart. It's connected. So your heart is truly where you are making physical, well-being decisions. You're making emotional decisions. You make all sorts of things are coming from your heart. It's like your heart is broken up into different, parts. And there's a part that is all about the decisions, a part that is all about the emotions, a part that is all about your thought life, and so on and so forth. That is where life begins. So instead of taking care of yourself by focusing on, the tip of the iceberg, how about we focus on things that are really going on within? Number two, your heart is kind of like the tip of the iceberg. When it comes to human behavior, what we often see is the tip of who we are. We don't see everything. Everything about us is hidden. It's the subconscious. It's the part of us that if I don't ask questions and go deeper, we don't get to see. So when you go into therapy, that's what your therapist is trying to do, is get to those parts of you that are hidden, that are deep within. And some people will say, oh, you read me. Yes, you have people that can read others, and that's because there are parts of you that not everybody gets to see or have the privilege or have the benefit of seeing. And if you don't want people to see it, that's fine. But if you are walking around angry all the time, upset all the time, little things trigger you, you don't know how to regulate your emotions, you don't know how to manage and navigate things in life that can be really stressful, like, your joy is gone, all those things. Let's talk about your heart and what's really going on in there. Money is not going to fix it. Unfortunately, it's just going to make you happy for a short time and that's it. But you do need to do some deep work. And so, like I said, number 3, heart work is soul work. You have to do the hard work. This is not, it's not like, oh, let me just, band-aid it or put a tape over it and all that stuff. That's called coping mechanisms. And we use that when we have to. Sometimes we just need to cope. Sometimes we just need to, in DBT, radical acceptance. You have to tolerate for a little bit. But after a while, it's like, no. This is going to cement something in my heart and I don't need it. So I got to talk about it. I got to get it out so I can be free. So you can be free. If you're going to tell yourself that you are free, guess what? Let's say that I am free from our hearts, not from the tip of the iceberg. Number 3. Is it number 3, number 4? I don't even know. I think I lost count. Number 4? Yeah, number 4. Number 4, let us do the hard work. Take care of yourself, number 4. Take care of your heart. And like I said, start with self-reflection, y'all. Self-reflection. It will give you that self-awareness. And if you can't do it on your own, get a therapist, get a coach, get somebody that you respect enough and is going to speak life into you as you do that work. And as part of this, you have to do the work. You just can't. Like for me, when my clients come to see me, I'm always asking, did you bring something to write on? Did you bring something that's going to help you reflect? It could be notes on your cell phone. It could be an actual notebook. But reflection is important. Okay? So make sure that you're doing the work. It says faith without works is dead. You can have all the faith in the world, but if you're not going to do the work, you have to do the work. You have to do the work. Seriously. I did the work. 2016. You should have seen me. Okay. You should have seen me 5 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning before I went to the gym at 5 a.m. 4 a.m. I'm going down the stairs to our living room with my Bible and my notebook and Right Now Media and everything that I could find. And I would just sit there and do the work on my heart. Do the work on my heart. Yeah. And that's where the Chief Joy Activator came from. It's because I know that once you do the work and you don't give up, you can say you're free and truly believe that you're free. The word says that the truth will set you free. And who the Son sets free is free indeed. You can be free. Your heart can be free. But it needs you to take the first step and to do the work. I need you to do the work. Okay? So, cheers to 2023. Cheers to all things healing and well-being. Cheers to you taking care of your heart. And cheers to number 5, finding God. Finding God for yourself. And not for me, for yourself. And allowing Him to liberate your heart. Okay? Have a good one. And I might do this again. I think I like it. Anyway, I love you. Bye.